All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to unpack a really powerful story about two kinds of wisdom. Seriously, two completely different ways of looking at the world. One is all about the material stuff, what we can see and touch. But the other, well, the other looks for something deeper, something divine. So let's dive in. And this question right here is really at the heart of everything we're talking about. I mean, what does it actually mean to live a wise life? It's a huge question, one that people have been wrestling with forever. Together, we're going to take a journey from a life that can feel kind of empty no matter how much you achieve to one that's packed with real, lasting meaning. So let's really frame this as a tale of two wisdoms. We're looking at two totally opposing philosophies on how to live. And as you'll see, these two paths lead to very, very different places. And here you can see the contrast, laid out plain and simple. On one side, you've got what our source calls false wisdom. This is a life that's all about pride, about chasing pleasure, and it ultimately just leads to this feeling of emptiness. Then, on the other side, there's true wisdom, a path of humility, of seeking peace, which leads to a life that actually feels meaningful. Okay, so let's walk down that first path for a minute, the emptiness of falsehood. This is a worldview that basically operates as if God isn't in the picture, like there's nothing more to life than what's right in front of us. And this quote, this is the motto, this is the banner they fly. Life is short, let us enjoy it. Now, on the surface, that sounds fine, right? But the focus here is super narrow. It's all about instant gratification. The thinking is, hey, since we're not here for long, the only real goal is to squeeze out as much pleasure as we possibly can. So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, it becomes this constant chase for more pleasure, more money, more power. But look at that last point, rejecting truth and righteousness. Now, why would you do that? Well, because people with integrity, people who stand for truth, they kind of hold up a mirror, and that mirror shows the emptiness of this lifestyle, and that is not a reflection people want to see. And this way of living, it does something to you on the inside. The source material says your very thinking gets distorted. It's like pride puts on a set of blinders, and suddenly you literally can't see any other way to live. When your whole world is built around yourself, you become blind to anything or anyone greater. And this is where that path ends. The conclusion is stark. There's no way around it. We're not just talking about a physical death, but a spiritual one. It's a state where the joy just drains away, where relationships fall apart, and all those things you built, the wealth, the power, they just crumble into dust, leaving nothing but silence. But, okay, the story doesn't just end in that dark, empty place. Not at all. There's a moment of change, a turning point. And this is where the journey pivots away from emptiness and towards a whole different kind of wisdom, a search that begins inside the heart. So how do you make that turn? It's not like flipping a switch. The source actually gives us a pretty clear 4-step roadmap. Step 1, it starts in the heart. You have to look inward. Step 2, seek counsel from others. Step 3, pray before you act. And finally, step 4, let God's guidance actually steer your conscience. It's a huge shift from looking out there for answers to looking inward and upward. And this turning point, it leads to a completely new way of being. The source calls it a life with the Trinity. This is the other path we talked about, and it's what true wisdom really looks like when you live it out. So what is true wisdom? Well, its goal isn't more and more pleasure. It's actually the opposite. The goal is peace. And that peace isn't found in stuff, but in a relationship with the divine, with the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And just look at the results of living this way, what the source calls the fruits. It's a total transformation of your character. So instead of pride and just looking out for number one, you start to see things like forgiveness, compassion, humility, and self-control. These aren't just nice ideas. They're the real tangible things that grow out of a life guided by this higher wisdom. Now, here's the really amazing part. This transformation, it's not just personal. It doesn't stay locked inside you. It radiates outward. As people change, the world around them starts to change too. And that's the ultimate reward of this path, seeing a whole community renewed. Remember that dark, crumbling city we imagined at the beginning? Well, this is the flip side. It's the same place, but completely renewed. You have people genuinely caring for each other. The righteous aren't being mocked anymore. They're part of a community that's actually thriving. It's an incredible vision of humanity transformed. This quote is so powerful. It's saying this way of life isn't just a part of your life, like a belief system you hold over here while you do other things over there. No, it becomes the very essence of your existence. It's not part of life, it is life. And this brings us right to the core of it all. Without that divine anchor, what we call wisdom can just be a really clever way to fool ourselves. But when life is anchored in that relationship with the Trinity, that's when, according to this source, life finds its real, true meaning. So, in the end, we're left with this simple, direct choice. This whole story, it really boils down to one decision. It's a choice not just between two ways of thinking, but between two completely different destinations. It kind of makes you stop and ask yourself, which path am I choosing?